Hello and welcome to my channel. In this topic I will talk about some of profile options, some of lookups, and I will answer some questions I received from some of people. So let's start. First of all, in AR as account receivables, how to be able the users to change distribution account for adjustment. As you know that adjustment is like adjustment actions on the AR transaction level on user interface as a UI for AR transactions. How to allow the users to change distribution for these transactions. As you know that adjustment created for managed transactions doesn't allow users to change it until you make these changes. What is these changes? It's like create a profile options. Profile options, the navigator, there are a lot of navigators like manage administrator, manage standard profile options values. In this case, you just go to setup maintenance, manage administrative profile values, just creation of profile options AR override underscore adjustment activity account, enable it at site level. Log out, log in again, it will work. So this will allow the users to make changes for the distribution of AR adjustment transactions. Second case here is that how do you set fixed asset book as a default book? In some cases you have a lot of corporate book in fixed assets, so you need to assign, for example, to make one of these books as a default at user level. Again, there is profile options through manage administrator profile values, search for FA underscore default book profile options, set up default book for the users, save, log in with that users, and navigate again to the assets landing page. Once you log in one more time, you will find that these asset books showing or appearing on displaying as a default book at user level. Default book on the page should be on one setup in FA default book profile values. Why is profile options AR application GLD default not working properly? As you know that there are a lot of GL dates for AR. One of them at AR transactions, all of the AR transactions types, one when you apply the AR receipts to AR transactions, and also when you unapply or clear and so on. First of thing that profile options descriptions say that it will specify how to determine default accounting date when applying receipts, not when unapplying them. So these profile options from its names like only for applying AR receipts to AR transactions. For unapplying it will not work because these only profile options for applying transactions. So application or unapplied default logic is as follows: that an application accounting date recommended by system will be the application accounting date for that specific line. It will not using like AR application GL date default for applying. So in cases if you say that this is not working, because it's not working only for unapplying, but it will work good or fine for applying receipts to AR transactions. What next? What is the purpose of profile options logbox gather statistics? Still, this profile option is not applicable until now in Fusions, but it's just used for gather status on interim objects. Again, it's not applicable at this moment in Fusion. How to void or avoid sending non-recoverable text to the mass addition. As you know that mass addition, it means that you create AB invoice with asset clearing account. When you create a invoice or AB invoice related to fixed assets, maybe there are some other lines like non-recoverable tax, recoverable tax, and so on. In some cases you don't need to sending this line or this amount of this non-recoverable tax line at AB invoice line to fixed assets. How to achieve that? This through seeded accounting class usage. this is for create mass additions, contains all accounting clause. Once you retrieve or search for this seeded accounting class usage, you will find IBV as the invoice price variance, freight, non-recoverable tax, interest rate, and so on. You just take a copy and disable and enable whatever you need, and enable this custom or copied accounting class usage, and disable the existing one, and again try to create AB invoice with this non-recoverable tax to check that this line or this specific line is not sending to AB or FA interface lines for mass addition. Again, just as you set up ones when on with accounting class usage, when only contains assignment where this line should not be sent or not sent or whatever. Again, FSM as a function setup managers, just manage accounting class usage, search for mass addition creates, which is include all of these accounting class types, add a new usage, give it name, short name if needed, usage can be set up per ledger. As desired accounting clause, this, don't adding whatever you don't. For example, in this case, you will not adding this non-recoverable tax. Activate them and inactive the current one or existing one, and try it again. Also, this using also for in case of that the exchange rate difference generated invoices payment are sent to the assets interface by create mass additions. Again, you have to create accounting class usage and to handle this rates exchange rate difference to include or exclude from sending to this FA mass addition. For example, if you need me to navigate to show you just for example, just I'm navigating to setup maintenance. Select financial and search for manage accounting class usage. For this, again you can search for mass addition, this as mass addition create, just update this the standard one. This is what I told you before, that a lot of items or accounting class you just include what you want, and so for example here non-recoverable tax, so I can create a new one, enable count class what you want, and again enable the new usage and make for this like is not inactive, so the active only one will be using. Here using for expense, freight, interest expense, IBV as I show you before, item expense, miscellaneous expense, non-recoverable, tax rate variance, tax invoice price variance, exchange rate variance, and so on. What next? How to enable group assets feature in Oracle Vision Assets Cloud. I already did one video for assets group, member, and asset like group fault cycles. In this case, how to enable it? Just you have to enable through this lookup, manage fixed asset lookups, search for lookup type aura, FA, allow, GR like group. For financial generating, Oracle FA allow group, just click add the book for the lookup code, meaning just this is assigned to this lookup in the meaning and the code the book name, existing book name, and just enable group assets at book level. Once you put the book name here at lookup code and meaning for these assets, fixed assets lookups, again navigate to this book which you already assigned it here and search for it, manage asset books advanced, and select allow group depreciation. The group assets type will now be available for only these books. Whatever you put, 1 book, 2 books, 3 books, it will be allowed for only these books. How to define custom user-defined lookup type for payable applications? As you know that manage payables lookups user interface is only used to define lookup for payables applications, and only development can add new payable lookup types and codes from here. But to create new custom or user-defined lookup types and codes, you have to using what manage standard lookup, not manage payables lookup. For this, you can select application payables on the user interface when defining custom lookup type. So again, for the payables lookup, just using manage standard lookups and select the application like payables. How to change the distribution account on the cancelled invoice. This is, I think you can find it in Oracle support, that for the cancelled invoice, how to change the distribution account. Just you have to create profile options. Just go to user that has administrative rule, which is app implementation consultant, search for manage profile options and enable this one. You have to add a profile options, AB enable cancel distributions, display name will be this, description will be the same. You have to take like a copy paste, the same name, the same option code, the same description, like this. Applications, in this case payables, module payables, start the date, this is up to you or up to customer choice. Enable profile option at user level, just enabled and updatable checkbox, and navigate to the task manage system or payables profile options, query profile options is, and under sections again this one, you just click add to add a user for which this profile option will be enabled, and put it yes, enable these profile options. These profile options you will put it at user level, so only these users he can update or change distribution account for only AB invoiced cancelled. So first of all, you have to add profile options, code, name, description, blah blah blah. Enable profile option at user level, and again manage payables profile options. First of all, manage profile options, and the second step, manage profile payables profile options, query of it, which you already created before, and under this section there is profile values. Click add and add a user for which this profile option will be enabled, put profile values as is. So once you create all of these steps, it will be only applicable to these users to change the distribution account. How can be limited the user possibility to change AR in accounts in AR distributions? User wants to make distribution read only so that no one can change AR distribution manually. How can this be achieved? Again, at this moment there is no profile options to control that behavior. If user is able to update the invoice, he also can change distribution. The only solution available at this moment is to do personalization using page customization to prevent user from updating the record, either sandbox or whatever. Only these solutions. There is no profile options, no lookups to control this point or this business case. Or you can create accounting not to consider existing distributions and to have everything set at the SLA level. How to remove some of the tax classification codes from list of values at AB, AR, suppliers or supplier sites. As you know, in Oracle tax rate, you can create a lot of rates. Some of rates related to order to cash, some of the other rates related to procure to pay. BO, BR, invoice, manual invoice, matched invoice, and so on. Sales order, AR transactions, credit memo, debit memo, miscellaneous, and so on. And also memo lines, you can assign the memo line to tax rate, and so on. In some cases, when the users make, for example, a manual invoice in AB on AR, and he opens the list of values of tax classification codes or tax rates, he can find all of the rates which is related to AB and related to AR. So in this case, how to manage this point, that once the users open the tax classification code on AB, the system will display only tax rate which is related to AB. which is related to procure to pay. And the same will be happening in AR. When the users try to open tax classification codes at the AR transaction levels, the system will display only all of the tax rate or tax classification codes which is related to account receivables or order to cash. There are two lookup code, ZX input classifications and ZX output classification. That input classifications which is related to procure to pay. So you have to manage just through this lookup, manage set enabled lookup, search for this lookup which is related to procure to pay, and in this lookup you have to disable all of the tax classification code which is related to order to cash cycles, and vice versa. In ZX output classifications you will disable all of the tax classification which is related to procure to pay. For example, that I just need to navigate to Oracle and navigate to the tax, just transaction tax, select all, go to down, let me manage tax lookup, ZX input classifications, let me try, is it in meaning or lookup type? The ZX input classification, this is related to what? For payables. Payables means procure to pay. So in this case you just go to navigate to the lookup code, or you will find all of the classifications, disable whatever which is related to AR or order to cash, and vice versa. Search for ZX output. Again, if I put here output and search, I will find it for receivables which is order to cash. So in this order to cash I am going to down and disables whatever tax classification is related to AB or procure to pay. In this case, once you enable and disables, again just save, close, login, again re-login again one time, you will find that these tax classifications for EB only it will be display which is related to procure to pay, and in AR the tax classification displays which is only related to order to cash. What next? Customer refund EB invoice doesn't default customer's bank account details. This question I also received, that for this case customer refund EB invoice doesn't default customer's bank account details even though customer selected bank details in the customer refund process screen. Solution: that customer account level or site level payment start date will be taken as sys date. Due to that, if the receipt creation or accounting date is before the start date, then the bank account details won't display in EB invoice. This issue is caused by missing also currency setup for issue bank account assigned to the issue customers. So this is the first reason. This is maybe the second reasons, that missing currency setup. So you have to navigate to receivables billing, select manage customers, search for the customers, and the customer account side there is bank account. It is bank account, either enter currency or check the checkbox for allow international payment for the bank account. Maybe this, maybe any other reasons, but just try to select to these reasons and try again to default the customer's bank account at refund process. Thanks for watching. Good luck.